Hi guys, it's your favorite, Tamika, and this is episode 12 of Purple Georgia Knits podcast. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. I had a pretty good holiday. Let's get started. First off, I want to say thank you to all my new subscribers. And thank you to my old subscribers for watching my video. I am very grateful to the comments that I've had and some of the emails. They are wonderful. Really makes me feel good to hear some feedback from you all. And I'm grateful that you all enjoy what I do. You know, I created this podcast on a whim. And, you know, just to be able to, you know, I guess in a way brag about the things that I've done and do. And I have noticed that over the years there have been an increase in podcasting. So, you know, if you feel like you have a gift or a talent or something, do not sleep on it. Do it. So, you can catch me on Instagram, Facebook, as well as Ravelry as Purple Georgia Knits. On Ravelry, take off the S. On Facebook and Instagram, leave the S. So, how was your holiday? For my holiday, we went and visited my mom. She cooked Thanksgiving and we all came together. I made a cake and my sister made some things and we all got together as a family because, you know, that's what we normally do. But normally we would pack it up and take it down to my grandmother and to her house. And then as she started to progress with Alzheimer's, we took it to the nursing home. So we couldn't do that this year because grandma's not here. But we enjoyed each other as well. And I think that's pretty much the reason why it took me a minute to do the podcast, because I was in my feelings a little bit. But I'm glad to be back to podcast. I'm feeling a little bit better, but my knitting mojo has not really been in full effect, as well as my sewing and spinning. You know, holidays. I've never really understood how people can say holidays are the hardest time. But now I truly understand what they mean by, you know, sometimes that's the hardest time for people. And it was hard for me for this Thanksgiving. Hopefully, you know, it won't be as bad. But, you know, we miss Grandma, but we love each other and we know she's in a better place. So, even though I really haven't been doing too much with my knitting, I will show you my progress. If you have been following me on Instagram, I was knitting on the checkered ankle socks. And that was by Shirel Stitches. And if it bothers you, I'm looking at my notes off to the side. Sorry. By Shirel Stitches. And I am using US size 1 dpns. That's 2.25 millimeter knitting needles. It is knitting. I'm using Knitpicks Palatte in the Shoal colorway. So here's my skein. And I don't know if you all noticed that on Instagram, I had messed up. And I am a big stickler about when I mess up, I got to go back and fix it. And I had to go back and fix a issue, and I ended up making a bigger mess. So I had to actually pull back on these things all the way down to the toe and start over. So basically what I did was I had to, I had them on, well, first off, I had them on 2.75 millimeter size 2 circular needles. They were coming out too big, and then I went down to my US size 1 dpns and made the mix up, had to start over. So basically I had to start this project over twice. I told you it is a slow walk with me with being a perfectionist at my knitting If I find a mistake, I will go back if I catch it lots of times. Think I have been good about it here lately, but when I saw it in these socks, I could not just let it go. So I cut my work on this one, got it back to the point to where I had left off, and then left that on these short circulars so I can come back and, you know, finish up later. And I've been working on this one. So as of now, this is my progress on my checkered ankle socks. So this one is a little bit shorter than the other, and I am loving it. I can't wait to be done, but I am going slow at it so I won't make any more mistakes. And hopefully here soon I will have my socks. It is a slow going progress because I'm being very meticulous about not making mistakes. Because this was a project that I had in my bag to take with me. And I'm so ADD, get to talking with people and get distracted, and I made a mistake. And then when I got home and realized my mistake, I went crazy, pulled it all out, and then I'm sitting there looking at this big jumble of yarn. And now I had to restart. So that was my first work in progress. That was my progress from when I pulled it all out, frogged it, and got back to the point to where I was, and a little bit more with one of the socks. So on my second works in progress, it is the Soho scarf by the Knit Cafe Toronto, and both of these patterns are free. I'm not against paid patterns, but I'm a frugal girl, and I would love to be able to make it where anybody could access the patterns that I knit up. So that's basically why I tend to choose free patterns. Not to say, you know, I have had a few patterns that I paid for and I've knitted and showcased, but I would like for you all to be able to access the patterns. You know, not to say that here in the future I won't be, you know, purchasing patterns, but I'm not above it, I'm not below it. I just want to be able to have you all be able to access the patterns that I'm knitting. But I am knitting on my favorite yarn as of right now, Loops and Thread Woolike, and this is in the purple violet and the charcoal gray. Let's see, right there. Is it upside down? No, it's right there. Charcoal. I keep saying charcoal gray, but it's charcoal. And excuse me, I'm having a little throat issue. But this is knitted up on US size, excuse me, size 4, 3.5 millimeter knitting needles. And basically, this is my progress. I mean, it's a little bit more than, let's see if I can take it apart. And I am using my earbuds, y'all. I live by it, I told you. The stripes. It's very soft. It's a little bit bigger than the last time I showed you all. Can't really show you because I'm using a small cable because I felt like I had too much cable with the other cable. So I shortened it so I can knit a lot faster in my mind. But that's my progress. I still have a lot to go with my skein. Both of my skeins. I said I wanted to try to see how far I can go with this, and then use my other charcoal color as the border. So I still got a lot of knitting. I'm using holding it double from the inside and outside of the skein, and I don't guess I'll be finishing this. I don't want to jinx myself, but I don't think I'll be finishing this before the end of 2016. It may be a possibility if I be a monogamous knitter. I used to be a monogamous knitter, but here lately it's like I see all the things, I want to make all the things. So if I find something I want to do, I will pick it up, find a pattern, get some yarn, and cast on. So right now I do have a lot of works that are in hibernation, and maybe I need to have a time where I go into my, as you say, graveyard of started projects that are never finished, and finish them. So those are my 2 works in progress. I do not have any finished objects in knitting, sewing, or spinning. I do want to also talk about what I told you all about in the last video. I went to Christmas in the South, and I went there to go and see Perky Moose, because Perky Moose is this drink mix booth that has hot and cold drink mixes, and I had fun. I went down there, and I was going to feature that craft show in my podcast, but when I got down there, guess what? No photography, no videos. I guess, you know, I understand people do not want their handmade creations documented or stolen, their ideas. You know, I understand. I totally understand. I had a good time. The turnout was, well, basically when we got there, there was a crowd. There was a big group, but it was not as crowded as when I went the year before. And I want to say that the year before, I don't know if it was because it was my first time going, it was a lot better to me. There was a lot of the same booths. There was a lot of people, a lot of unique items, a lot of like bags. I saw woodwork. This guy made actually a fountain. It actually looks like a bottle of beer pouring into a bottle, but it was a fountain, so it recycled. It looked like it was pouring a bottle of beer. I thought that was very unique, but I couldn't get any photos, pictures, videos of anything. So if you all are interested or in the area of Georgia around Christmas time, go on the website. It's called Christmas Made in the South. And they usually do it all year round. It's a craft show. And check it out. It's very fun. I bought me some drink mixes. And you know, I love the idea of repurposing and reusing items. So I bought these items from Perky Moose. And they come in these little bags like this. And I am going to use this as like my notions bag. This bag looks like it's big enough to basically put 1 skein of yarn, some small dpns or something, and some scissors for some sock knitting, and it does draw. So yeah, I bought these. We drunk pretty much all of it. I don't have it right here, but there's a little bag on the inside, has the instructions, tell you how to mix it, or you can mix it to your taste. And I thought it was neat to show you all these little bags that the drink mixes come in, you know, and you can reuse them. That is it about Christmas Made in the South. That is it about my visiting the folks, family. This video will not be that long. I'm going to try to shoot for like 20 minutes. Let's get to the next part. I was on Instagram last year, and I told you all about the hashtag Get Your Yarn Wish Granted. And it did come back around, and it was starting up. I don't know if it's still going on. You may see some posts here and there, but usually how that works is you put a post, and there's a picture called Get Your Yarn Wish Granted. And what you do is you put out a wish. If your wish has been granted, you fulfill a wish. Well, I was able to fulfill 2 wishes last year and got 2 wishes fulfilled. This year, I couldn't fulfill a wish because I didn't have any items that people were looking for. But I did get a wish granted, and I wanted to show you all because it came in the mail this week. And I thought it was very neat. Let's see, I don't want to chop up her name, but Julia, okay, no, I'm not going to mess up her name. Her company is The Stitch Is Back and More. This is her card. And let's see. I don't know if it's going to clear up. Yeah, I was writing, got ink on my hand. But this is her card. Let's see, and this is the back of her card. The stitch is back and more. And my wish was for some US size 1 circular needles, and I did not expect to get some Addy turbos. To me, this is like the, what, Lexus? Well, not quite the Lexus. That's Signature. To me, Signature is like the Lexus of knitting needles. This would probably be like, to me, would be like Cadillac. I got me some Addy turbos from this lady for my yarn wish. And then she threw in this neat little thing, and I might have to buy some more of these, because when I saw it, I thought it was so neat, because at first I was like, what is this? It's a needle keeper, and it's embroidered. And look at that. I thought this was so neat, and she just threw that in as a bonus, and this is like the best thing. I'm going to need more of these. I am going to, Julia, I am going to need more of these. But I thought it was so neat to get my yarn wish granted. I wish, you know, I was so excited to get in on it. I think it's still going. I'm going to try to get in on it and see if I can fulfill a few wishes, but I don't really have much of a stash. But I could fulfill some stitch markers, bags. I can probably throw a bag together and, you know, fulfill a wish that way. But it's called hashtag Get Your Yarn Wish Granted. And I thank you, Julia, for doing that. If you ever are on Instagram, check out her website. The Stitch is Back and More. And thank you. And let's talk about a project that I'm thinking about casting. Well, not thinking about. I will cast on. Sorry about the intense zoom in on my face because of my reach. But I was in my local Michael's, and I come across some Caron Simply Soft camo. I've never saw Caron camo. This was new to me, as well as the Caron cake, because I've had the intention of going to my Michael's to get a Caron cake or two. And I seen the hype. You know, everybody's talking about Caron cake, Caron cakes, Caron cake, Caron cakes. So I got to Michael's, and I was disappointed at the Caron cakes because I didn't like the way it looked. I guess me being perfectionist again. I didn't like the way it looked. I didn't like the way it felt. And I was just being silly old me. But I saw this Caron camo. And this is blue camo. And I have 2 skeins of the blue camo. And then I have, what is this? Snow camo. And the reason why I have these is because on the label, I saw this scarf. And I wanted to make it. So I went to Yarnspiration and printed out the pattern. And it's called the Oblique Scarf. No, Oblique Kerchief. And it's a knit pattern. And I will be casting that on. Like I said, I'm not monogamous. You know, I think these 2 projects I got on the needles, I'm so ready to be finished with them. I need a change. So I think I'm going to throw in this Caron Simply Soft Camo Oblique Kerchief. And maybe that'll be knitted here soon. I have so many things that I want to do that I can't do because when you see the patterns, you want to knit everything. So that's my future project. And I guess the last thing that I will touch on, and then I'll be out of here, is 2 little, I don't want to say little, 2 ways of doing things. My first one is, you know, you sitting there knitting, and lots of times you have a pattern that you want to knit on. and you have a hard time with like seeing the pattern, I guess. I don't know if I'm describing this too well. But many moons ago, before I was a knitter, I tried cross stitch. And when I was doing cross stitch, I had this magnetic, well, it was a piece of metal, little board thing that sat up, and it had magnets so you can put your cross stitch pattern on there and you can be able to look at it. And I always said that I thought that was neat because you can actually stand it up and you won't have to tilt your head, look down, you know, continuously doing this to look at your pattern. And I always wondered while I became a knitter, is like, did they have these things for knitters? Well, me being a frugal girl, this is what I did. I went to my Walmart and found this. It's a document holder, or you can put a picture in it, and it has a stand, this plastic thing, and I put a piece of tape on the back to hold my pattern inside, but you slide it up in there and you can sit this with your pattern in it, and you'll be able to look at it and knit without any neck pain of looking up, looking down. See, like this. Do it like that. And you'll be able to sit it on the table and you can be able to knit. So if you're all looking out for those, go to your Staples, your Office Depot. Walmart had that and it was pretty cheap. I think it was no more than like $8. I picked it up and I've been using that for like when I'm sitting with a little table beside me, pop my pattern in, knit. Just look over, you know, don't have to worry about trying to flip pages or anything like that. So, that's my little tip for you on that. See if you can all get in on that. That'll be great. I love it. My next thing is, over the years, and I feel like I'm zooming through this, but I'm sorry. I'm trying to get finished with this video because I'm losing light, losing time. You know, guys, I'm busy. I love you all, but thank you. Found, you know, trying to figure out ways of storaging your printed patterns, because that's where I get majority of my patterns. I print them off on my printer and I need a way to storage them. So this right here, and this thing is heavy, and I know that there is no way in God's green earth that I will ever knit all of these patterns. But I basically got me a binder, made me a cover, and these are knit and crochet patterns. And this is one of those big, like 6-inch binders that the kids had for school. They're not using anymore. I'm sorry. This thing is heavy. And I got it full of patterns, and I got, you know, covers, sleeves, folders, everything, you know, and I've basically not organized them, but like sorted. I even have, you know, the inserts that you go when you go to the craft store in there in categories. And that is the way I storage my patterns. But I think I'm going to need to split up my crochet and my knitting into 2 different binders because it is starting to overflow. But that's the way I storage my patterns. When I, because I love the sleeve. Like when I was doing my Rose City rollers, I put them in the sleeve, and I can usually like fold it and stick it in a bag. To me, these little plastic covers help preserve your patterns. So that's another little tip. I always try to keep my patterns in these little sleeves so that when I stick them in my bag, you know, I drink when I knit or eat when I knit sometimes, so I don't want to get spots and food stains on my patterns. So that's what I do, and then I pop them, snap them right back into the binder, and you know, that's what I do. So another tip for you all, if you don't already do it, but you know, I love organization and keeping organized. So that is my tip for you all with, you know, the stand-up project holder. I guess that's what you would call it. It's actually like a document stand for like when you're typing. I think that's the, you know, the technical thing for it, but stick my knitting pattern in it. Okay, and that the binder is my second tip for you all, plus the plastic sleeve, third tip. So out of all that, I got a third tip. But last and not least, I talked about me being 1 year old. My next video, which should be here soon, I am doing a giveaway. And I will put that out. It's going to be a short video showcasing what I will be giving away, the time frame for the giveaway. And I'm going to, I guess, use one of those number generators thingy apps to pick my winner. So basically, that's what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to give away a handmade Purple Georgia Knits bag, even though, you know, I make my bags for me. I don't usually make bags for people. I have made 1 or 2 bags for somebody else, but I usually, you know, craft for myself. But I thought that you all would love the idea of, for my first year, to receive a gift from me. So I think it's going to include a bag, some handmade stitch markers from me, some peach tea, a sample. I think it has 2 bags in there. Peach tea, my favorite tea. And let's see, I said stitch markers, and I may even throw in some of those earbud plastic thingies for your needles if you want it, and a skein of yarn. So to me, that's a big giveaway. Skein of yarn, a bag, stitch markers. That's a good giveaway. So be on the lookout for the giveaway. I'll put it out there. I as well put it out there on Instagram. I hope you all will continue to have a good week, as well as, you know, it's the holiday season. So get in the Christmas spirit. Go visit family. Go visit friends, because when they're gone, you guys, you can't fill that void with nothing. You can't fill that void with belongings. You can't fill that void with things. That person is gone, and you could have had your moment while they were alive. So as my mom would say, give your flowers to the person while they're living, because when they're dead, they can't do nothing with it. Take that tidbit of information. I love you guys. Thank you for sitting with me, taking time with me every time I podcast. You all have a good, safe holiday, and I'll be back to put out for my giveaway. So, see you later.